And so Orion found himself in a new, empty, and unfamiliar place. From this point on, he had free will to do whatever he pleased. So the only question that remained in the young Titan's mind was what would become of this empty void. And so, stretching his hand out, he created life. And with a wave of his hand, Orion had created life. This new being that shared the empty void with him was named Crete. He was given the ability, as well as the responsibility, of filling up this empty void with planets and stars. While Orion, of course, could do this himself, he longed to see what his creation would do, and how things would soon play out. And so the universe was once again filled up in its entirety by all of Crete's works. From suns, to planets, to moons, to galaxies, to black holes, to everything that filled it up. Orion had thanked his creation for his tireless work, and had now decided it was time for the two of them to retire to one of the many planets he had created. As the creator of all the planets and stars in the galaxy, Crete had also been the one to name each and every one of them. The name of this particular planet was called Earth, and it orbited one single star. However, before Orion and Crete could retire to the planet, there was still one more thing Orion had to do in order to ensure the longevity of his universe. And so Orion had created the 6 natural forces. These 6 bore the sole responsibility of ensuring the universe's longevity, as well as making sure everything was in balance. The first 2 from this group would be Crete and Death. In their part, they were responsible for growth within the universe itself. An example of this would be how once a star reaches the end stages of its life, Death comes in and destroys the star, in turn causing a supernova. In turn, the remnants from this explosion are then used by Crete, who uses her powers to create and birth new stars. And so the two ensure that the universe is always growing as well as always changing. The next 2 natural forces within this lineup would be Pei and Hao. These 2 were the embodiments of chaos and order, and as such were responsible for maintaining it throughout the universe. Being the living embodiment of chaos itself, Hao was the one responsible for all the disorder and confusion within the universe. However surprising, it was through this chaos and adversity that many species and humanity would continue to evolve and reach greater heights. This relationship, however, wasn't stable, and too much chaos could prove dangerous. Adversity can prove very beneficial. However, too much can prove very dangerous as a whole. Sudden changes in temperature, such as during ice ages, have proved very dangerous, and even more catastrophic, events such as asteroid impacts can wipe out millions of species in a single day. And this is where Pei comes in. As she establishes order within the universe, she gives life a fighting chance to overcome all the adversity it faces. And so the last 2 of the 6 were created. They were the living embodiments of life and death itself, and were named Elif and Edith. As to be expected, the 2 maintained life and death within the universe, ensuring that there was a delicate balance between the 2 of them, and ensuring the longevity of the universe and its inhabitants as a whole. In addition to being the gods of life and death, they were also responsible for ferrying the souls of those who have passed into the afterlife. Those who lived good lives would find peace within Elif's realm, and those who lived bad lives would find nothing but torture and solitude within Edith's realm. And so it was, these 6 would be crucial to the longevity of the universe, as well as its inner workings. And so with these 6 created, as well as their positions being assigned, Orion had returned to Earth once again. And looking out to the pale blue sky, he raised his hand once more, and with a single thought, created life throughout the entire universe. And all throughout the universe, life began cropping up. And it was with this, Orion sat back and looked at his new world, and it was good. And this is the way things would remain for thousands of years. Humanity would continue to flourish and grow, and the natural forces would ensure balance was maintained within the universe. And from on high, Orion would sit and watch over his creations. As humanity continued to flourish, they founded many great cities, and Orion was often worshipped in many of them. However, Orion soon found himself estranged from the very beings that worshipped him. This was due to the fact that his life, as well as that of the natural forces, was too far removed from the everyday inner workings of humanity, and as such, only helped further distance them from their own creations. As a way to make amends, as well as bless humanity for all their loyalty, Orion had created them one final gift, in an effort to bring them closer together. Arriving in one of the oldest and most powerful empires of the time, Orion decided it was time to give humanity their final gift. And so the first part of this was creating something that humans could familiarize themselves with. And so Orion looked in the environment. And what did he find? He found 4 constants that existed within the world. These 4 elements being fire, air, plant life, and water. And so using this inspiration, Orion created 4 new beings to give to humanity. These 4 would be known as the Pures. And the first among them would be Raj. Created from the bellowing flames from a massive fire pit within the center of the city, Raj would become the pure of fire and the color red, as this color tied into his creation. The next pure to be created would be Amar, created from the winds flowing around the city, and he would lay claim to the color yellow. The next to follow would be Ren. She was the pure of plant life and had claimed green as her color. And lastly was Lu. She was the pure of water and thus had taken blue as her color. And so now brought into the world, the Pures finally went forth and introduced themselves to mankind.